banks are speculating on food prices, so it's not so hard to get people riled up about economic demands, because they have them. And the other side, though, is this, that the CIA and the State Department have decided that they will not allow any independent nation states to continue to exist. They want to destroy all of them. And that's what you have. That is this process. It began about a year ago with the WikiLeaks, the third WikiLeaks document dump. WikiLeaks, of course, a CIA limited hangout operation. In other words, a process of selective revealing of certain documents that are edited. Other documents remain secret, but the whole thing is designed to do what? Designed to make the enemies of the CIA look bad. Because if you look at the WikiLeaks document dump, who is suffering from this, right? Who is bad? Who gets hit? Ben Ali, Gaddafi, Mubarak, Putin, Berlusconi, Karzai, Maliki, Kirchner in Argentina, all the enemies of the CIA get hit. And the CIA, well, nobody in the US got hit, nobody in Britain, nobody in Israel.
Heroes.
They're heroes, and that's what they said. There's a guy called Alec Ross in the State Department. He's an assistant to Hillary Clinton. And he was asked by France 24, France 24, what do you think now, almost a year later, about WikiLeaks? Has this been a problem for you? And he essentially confessed. He said, no, WikiLeaks is not a problem for the State Department. It makes us look good. It shows us doing good things. So we have no problem at all with WikiLeaks. That was really an unguarded moment. Yes, so that is what a CIA limited hangout operation is. It's like a striptease, right? Certain things are shown, others not shown. The whole thing is carefully controlled. So that set it into motion, right? And between the WikiLeaks document dump and the fall of Ben Ali, well, just a couple of weeks. It basically, the overthrow of Ben Ali in Tunisia began within 10 days, I think, of the WikiLeaks document dump.
How many people, or what is the people, public in USA, convinced or know these facts that you said?
Well, 100% of the readers of tarpley.net know the score, my website. Other than this, though, it's very hard to say. And maybe this is an area that many people are going to find very complex. Maybe I think American people have a better understanding now about economic issues than they did 5 years ago. They know Wall Street is an enemy. They know they have to fight the bankers. But when we get to these complicated foreign policy issues, this is harder for a lot of them. So the goal is this. The CIA says no nation state
independent
shall be allowed. Right. And this is important too, because the idea of the independent nation state goes back to the famous Treaty of Westphalia at the end of the 30 Years' War, terrible war in Central Europe. So 1648. At that point, we have a state system, in other words, a European system of politics based on these independent nation states. And that whole experience was very costly. A lot of people died to get to the point where people realized that an empire was not good. The Holy Roman Empire was not a good thing in Europe. So therefore, you had to have the independent nation state. Now, the CIA, the State Department, and Wall Street say, no, that's no good. Now, why do they do that? The Depression, I think, is the key. As you have the bankruptcy of the U.S. banks in 2008, right, Lehman Brothers and everything with this, you now have the bankruptcy of all the European banks. So we have the whole NATO banking world completely bankrupt. What's the response of the imperialist ruling class to that? Well, they say, increase the rate of looting. Increase the rate of pillaging and sacking and robbing and exploiting the people. Drive down wages, destroy the unions, cut the standard of living, cut the budgets, do all these things, so that more money will be available for future bailouts of banks.
And where is Israel from all this and the Zionist lobby in USA?
Israel, of course, is an integral part of it. I would basically say it's like one seamless unit. The U.S., the British, and the Israelis, that's one thing. The Israelis, of course, are in a more exposed position. They have special problems. They have special political problems above all. They have, basically, they're in continuous crisis at this point, right? And they're very demanding. They want the U.S. and the British to make life possible for them the way they see it, which I don't think can be done.
And Zionist lobby?
The Zionist lobby, of course, is alive and well. It's been there for a long time. I would just warn people, don't think that the Zionist lobby runs the United States. It does not. The U.S. ruling class did not need to import Zionists in order to be evil. It was already plenty evil in its own right. You see what I mean? And I think, I would just warn people about this. If I'm from the CIA and I want to operate in the Arab world, what should I do? What's my cover? Anti-Israeli, anti-Zionist. It's the easiest thing in the world. And one of the favorite tricks of the CIA is, in the Middle East, they say, if something terrible happens, they say, we didn't do that. That was the Mossad. Yeah. So you have to be extremely careful with some of these things. You have all these former CIA agents who come forward and say, you know, I'm really fed up with the Mossad. Look what they did, this, that, and the other thing. This is now a game of mutual betrayal by two gangs of thieves and murderers. So I think it's just clear that all are bad. But I don't think you need to get to the point of thinking that Israel is the center of the world, because I don't think it is. The Israelis may think this, but I don't share it. And I think when you look at the historical centers, London is the historical center, and then New York has tended to join it. And I think Israel is sort of a branch of that. It's certainly a client state, right? It couldn't exist without massive transfers of U.S. resources. Some people then say, well, then it's gotten so powerful that it runs the U.S. I think that's an exaggeration, and I think the CIA promotes that exaggeration.
Okay. Now, Mr. Webster, I wanted to ask you as an American citizen. Hillary Clinton said to the Syrian who has the armed group, don't go to the Syrian Authority, don't throw the army, stay and we will support you. So, I don't know. I want your opinion in this as an American citizen.
People, first of all, don't believe that, because she won't, or she may not, right? I remember when Bush the Elder said to the, I guess it was the Shiites of Iraq.
In Iraq.
Rise up and overthrow Saddam Hussein, and we'll be there in just a minute. And they all got killed. So I would hope, whoever you are, right, listening in, right, I don't care what kind of a person you are, don't believe that stuff. Don't do it. I mean, don't engage in anything based on the promises of Hillary Clinton. She has gone a little bit crazy lately, crazier than before. I have to now go into an area that might seem to be off of politics.
2003.
She personally is having some kind of a nervous breakdown because she has gained about 20 to 30 pounds of weight since she became the Secretary of State. And this is a problem for her because we have Michelle Obama, who has this campaign against obesity. Have you seen this? Michelle Obama says Americans are too fat. All right, fine. But she wants to have a campaign about this. And when you read the supermarket tabloids in the U.S., right, the Star or the Globe, they say that Michelle Obama has been attacking and criticizing Hillary Clinton because of her weight. And she says, how dare you? You're the face of the United States in the world, and look how fat you are, and you're destroying my campaign. And therefore, Hillary is in some kind of a nervous breakdown. Now, obviously, I'm kidding, although this is real. This is a real complex that's going on. The reason why we have so much insanity, the more basic reason, is because of this banking situation. Once again, if you take an imperialist ruling class, and then you have their derivatives structures and their debt structures and their banks are blowing up. They're collapsing and going bankrupt. And that's what we have in New York, and that's what we have in London. Then that imperialist ruling class goes crazy. They get into flight forward, they become hysterical, they become utopian, they can't understand cause and effect. And that's what you see in the United States. You see a ruling class which is losing its moorings, its anchorage in reality, and is going into an area of mental insanity. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Clinton is one. I would also point to Susan Rice at the United Nations. If you could imagine a boiling cauldron of hatred, I guess that's her. And she is supposed to be concerned about human rights. You can look at her, she's full of hatred for every human being on this earth, it seems.
And she also always attacked others for people or for this principle. But I wanted to ask you about the principal community or the international community like Security Council or UA or something like this. Do you believe that really they care about rights of a human being all over the world?
Who could believe that they did? I guess you have to be very naive and very gullible to do that. And we've got a lot of very naive and very gullible people in the world. We got Tahrir Square was full of naive dupes. Somehow they thought a revolution is where you kick out Mubarak.